Well, hello there, and welcome back to my beginner series. Once again, I am your host, Sin Skillet, and we're going to go through some more basics for things that you may have set up, maybe you haven't, maybe you don't know yet. But for today, we're going to talk about a little bit of farming. We're going to talk about some animal collection. As you can see, we've got a couple of pets here, and I'm going to show you where I got them, how I collected them while I was off camera doing a little bit of exploring. We're also going to talk about some of our item storage so that we can start seeing how to hold on to all of the things that we collect. All right, so with that, let's roll on. First stop, the jungle. All right, we've made it over to our jungle, and as I suspected, we have a lot of bamboo, which is the real reason I'm over here. But since we're in a jungle anyway, we're gonna wander around and we're gonna find some other fun things. Such as this little guy that's growing on the side of that tree there. That's a cocoa bean, and we can use that to make brown dye, which is useful. It's also an ingredient in cookies if you want to make them. At least I believe it's cookies. Don't quote me on that one. But it does have some uses in cooking. But the real treasure here is this bamboo, which I've already collected a little bit here. Um, but not too much. And oh, it's already grown some. This grows really fast. And if you've got some already, you really only need one piece to get started. You can put it down and it'll start off like this, and then it can grow real big, real tall. And when you want to harvest it, if you want the same plant to keep growing, you can take your sword, hit it on this second block here, and everything above it will come on down. Oh, hey guy. Hey guys. Right? um, Anyway, pandas. They're adorable. You can't tame them, so they won't follow you and they won't necessarily be your friend, but there are ways to capture and move them. So I think later down the road, we're going to make ourselves a little panda habitat for them to come hang out in, maybe a little zoo that we're going to create down the line. And I'll show you how to capture them and move them. For the most part, they're just a cute little mob. Don't attack them, though. They are aggressive if attacked. And they are, I wouldn't say super strong, but they're strong enough they're going to give you some pretty big trouble early on. Now, one thing to be of note, though, slime balls. Okay, it's something in this game that you can utilize for making some machines and things to help automate things down the line. There's only a couple of ways to get slime balls. One, if you can find slime and kill them, they will give you slime. If you find a swamp biome, the slime will spawn there at night. Otherwise, there's something called a slime chunk, in which slime can spawn below level 40, which is the way that you would probably want to go about making a slime farm if you decide to do that on your world. And we'll tackle one of those at some point. But the other way, these little baby pandas, in fact, let's try and breed up another one, increase our chances here. When they sneeze, sometimes they can generate a slime ball. So if we can get a few of these guys, and I'm going to do that off camera, I'm going to breed them up, make more of them with this bamboo because they like it. You feed bamboo, makes more little baby pandas. Hopefully I can get my hands on a couple of slime balls. Beyond that, another nice thing that we have here is the jungle tree. Now the jungle tree has vines that grow on it. You can climb them. It's really good for like a kind of, I don't know, secret ladder almost. But we're here to collect a few saplings from these. When a jungle tree grows from a sapling, it'll actually grow with vines already on it, which you can harvest. In order to actually harvest it, though, you need something with either silk touch on it, which is an enchantment you can put on your tool, and we will get that later. Or, in the case of vines and a few other things, you can use shears on them, just like sheep, which we'll probably see a little later in this video when I set up my sheep pen. But in the meantime, I'm going to wander around here just a little bit. I'm going to collect some of these cocoa beans. I'm going to get myself some tree saplings. Hopefully get myself a couple of slime balls when these adorable little guys sneeze. Oh, they're just so much fun. They like to roll around. But anyway, I'll go ahead and do that off camera to try and keep this shorter than the last video, and we'll get back to it after that. All right, I promised to show you how to get some pets, and I have found another cat. They're a little bit skittish. Gotta kind of follow them around, be nice and gentle. But hopefully, won't be too scared. You'll get curious about this fish here in a moment. Oh, no, no. You gonna run away, guy? Alright, so I got these fish from down in the river while I was going over to the jungle. And let's see. Oh, scared away again. They swim around in there and you'll actually see them. You can use a fishing pole to get other types. But once you see them, you can actually just whack them with your sword, your fist, whatever, and it'll kill them. But what we want to do to get ourselves a new pet, and we're just going to chase this guy down, I think it'll be easier, is we want to feed him the fish. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Come here. Come here. Why are you so scared? But once we get close to him, we'll right-click him with the fish. And he'll become our friend. Now, we might have to do it a few times. It's rare that you'll get him with the first fish. Alright. And I'm holding shift right now, which allows me to sneak. And I'm hoping, although I don't know if it actually does any good, the cat will be less scared of us. No? Well, that's not working. Come here, guy. Come here. There we go. Gotcha. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. That's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here, have more fish. Love me. All right, when you first tame them, they'll be sitting, which is this position, and they'll just stay there forever unless you right-click them again. Then they'll get up. Once you do, they'll follow you around. And they'll go with you wherever you go until you right-click on them again, and then they'll sit down. But I'm going to take him over to our little improvised starting base area, and then we will get into how to build our first farms and start utilizing cattle and sheep and pigs for food sources. All right, so now it's time to start setting up our little wheat farm. Okay, we're actually going to use this to feed some of our cows, but the easiest way to get seeds early on is to punch some grass. And there was our first one right there. We keep punching, we're going to find a few seeds here and there. Not every piece will produce seed, but it'll start adding up. Now, there is another way to get some of this. We can actually create a bucket, go get some water, and we can kind of use it like a lawnmower. So we're going to take 3 pieces of iron, which will make our bucket here. And I'm going to run down to my little river that's near the village and collect myself a bucket of water. And once I get back up here, I'm going to clip out real quick. We'll show you just how that ends up working. All right, I'm back with my bucket of water, and I'll show you how this works now. We're going to find a spot, and then we're going to place down some water. And that water is then going to spread out into a larger area, and it's going to mow down some seeds for us, hopefully. All right, where's a good spot? Let's just start, I don't know. Pretty much anywhere doesn't matter, I guess. We can just plop down our water wherever. All right, there we go. And already a couple of seeds. We place it down using our right click, and we can go collect the seeds. Now, your chances of getting seeds are not super high. Oh, and something worth mentioning. Your water will spread out evenly unless it has a clear path to someplace lower to go. So sometimes putting it in a corner like I just did will give you more spread, which will get more of the area, kind of mow down the grass. But honestly, it really depends on your terrain, whether this is faster or not. Personally, I'm just going to run around, mostly just punch up some grass, collect up a whole bunch of seeds. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll get cracking on building our farm. All right, it's time to start making our farm finally. To do this, I'm going to need, well, I'm going to use a shovel. You can do it without, honestly, but I prefer to use it. And setting it up, we want to find ourselves a relatively flat place where we can set things up. But once we find where we're going to do it, we want to dig ourselves a 1 square hole and place some water in there. Now, water will flow up to 7 blocks away. Okay, and it won't flow any farther than that, no matter how you set it up, unless you have a drop off. Okay, so see that hole right there? Water's not going to flow into it, so we're just going to go ahead and fill that back up. But we're going to go to the other side, we're going to dig over 7, and that's going to give us a long stretch where water can get to the crops that we're about to set up and plant. Now, away from the water, crops can grow up to 4 blocks away. All right, let's just fill that in so it's nice and flat and get it all ready for when we're tilling it here in a moment. So we're going to go ahead and stretch it all the way out so that we have 4 blocks across to give us as much room as we can with as little effort as we have to put in to get all of this set up. This part, it's a little tedious, and I broke my shovel. I'll just go make a new one. At the moment, I'm actually just using stone tools. Your tools are going to wear out on you, no matter how you do things, especially early on. Later, there's an enchantment where your tools can repair themselves as you collect experience, but that's going to be a little ways down the road, and I don't really feel like wasting things like iron yet. So, broadly speaking, I'm just going to utilize stone. All right, now we got our area dug out, and what we're going to do is we're going to hoe this. So we made a hoe on the crafting table. The recipe's available in your recipe book, and it's going to let us till land when we right-click it. All right, and see that darker spot? That's a piece of hydrated land. All of this should change over to hydrated land eventually, and that's required for your crops to be able to grow. You see it's kind of starting to spread already, and that's because we're close enough to our water. And your water can be flowing, which is the stuff that's not in the center there, kind of at an angle where it's spreading out, or it can be your source block, which is that piece that we put down. Just so you know, your source block is the only one that can actually be picked up with your bucket. All right, but anyway, we're going to make this nice big area, and as I'm starting to get closer to this side, I'm trying to remember. I think the diagonals will work for this too, so let's go ahead and dig some of this out and check it. We can give ourselves a little bit more farmland. We don't have enough seeds yet to plant everything that we've hoed already, but we can harvest these crops and it'll produce some wheat and some seeds with every one we break once it's mature, and that'll let us fill out the rest of this. All right, and let's kind of try this out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna work. Let's go ahead and do this, and then we'll run over. Oh, broke my hoe. That is the one downside of stone tools. They don't have a lot of durability, so you're gonna break a lot of them when you're starting things off early on. All right, let's make ourselves a new tool and head on back down there. And I made a shovel. I'm an idiot. Hold on, wait. I got a crafting table. We'll just set that up down here, and we'll make tools as we need them a little bit closer instead of running back and forth. All right, so we'll finish getting all of this cleared up, ready to plant. All right, now that we're wrapping that up, I can go ahead, switch over to my seeds actually. We'll get this started. All right, and once you have your seeds in hand, you can literally just right-click the places you've tilled, and it'll plant the seeds for you. Now, these seeds will grow slowly over time. If you pay attention to your crops, you'll see they'll eventually go through several stages. All right, that was a real quick jump clip. I decided you didn't need to see me continue to dig the hole, but um, anyway, they'll go through several stages, and you'll actually be able to kind of see it every time we walk by now. You'll see some things are a little taller than others, or they look a little bit different, but it's starting to get to be nighttime again, so let's run off and sleep real quick before all the monsters start to get us. All right. Now that we've got all that started, I'm actually going to collect a few more seeds here off camera, plan out a little bit more of that to kickstart it a little faster. But at this point, honestly, you can just wait for it to grow. Click on it, it'll pop right out, and you'll get wheat and seeds from every one of them. You'll get more seeds than you started with, so you'll be able to replant what you harvest as well as a little bit extra, and that's going to be a really good way to fill everything out. All right. Also, that little bit that I just tilled right there, it's going to eventually disappear. I'm just going to leave it for right now, but I'll show you what happens when there's no water involved. All right, but now that we got this, it's on to collecting some cows. All right, now as we get into this, we're going to want a couple of things. One, we're going to want some of our wheat, which we can actually get out of those hay bales that we got from the villages before. So just put it in your crafting table or inventory. You can split it back up into wheat. All right, and we're going to use that to attract the cows. Now, what I'm making here is I'm going to make some fences and a gate. That's going to let us make a little enclosure so that we have a place to put our cows and they're not going to run away. Once we have them in a little enclosure, we're going to be able to breed them up, make them multiply, get more cows. All right, but the big thing is you're going to want to have enough fence posts to be able to make a fairly decent size enclosure. We don't want to just squish our cows in there because that's mean. Um, but then we also want to have a gate, and that gate's going to let us get in and out really easy without having to cut down part of our fence every time that we do this. Let's see, get that tree out of the way. Farming this up so I've got enough for our house build when we get to it in the next episode. All right. And that'll actually despawn a little bit. It drops saplings when it starts to disappear so that you can get more, plant more trees, which is how I've been collecting and gathering all this up to this point. You can see these little saplings around. All right. What's going on over there? I don't really see any bees, but anyway. Ooh, sun's starting to set. Let's hang out here for just a moment. Go ahead and sleep, and then we'll start cracking on collecting our cows and getting them caged up. Seems like the sun never sets fast enough when you notice it. Oh, you know what? We're going to want to light it up too, keeping mobs out. Like I mentioned, they come out at night, but part of that's because of the light level. We can just use our sticks and our coal like this, make ourselves up some torches, which we can place down randomly to spread some light around. All right. Let's just pop one down on the crafting table. And, oh, right, no. You have to hold shift when you do that with something that's interactable. But there we go. Now we got a nice little light source around us. It's not going to protect us from much, but, see how it works now. All right. Pick up the sapling. Yeah. All right. We're going to go back towards our wheat farm that we got set up. You can see I added some additional plants to it, and a couple of them are kind of starting to grow. We're going to harvest those later, but we need to pick a place to put our cows. I think I'm going to put them up above just a little bit. I'm going to dig out a little bit of an area. Yeah, probably right here is probably good. And we're just gonna make a spot big enough to put up a little bit of a fence and make a spot for our cows. Now you can see I'm leaving a too high ledge on the left side here. And you're gonna get to see that here in just a minute once I attract some cows. I'm gonna use that to get them to just fall into this pit. When they're chasing the wheat, they don't mind jumping down lower than just one block, so I'll be able to trick them into just jumping right into the fence I'm making. Alright. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to size. Maybe just a little bit bigger would be nice. Really, it just depends on how many cows we're going to have. But once we start feeding them and getting them to multiply, we're going to be able to get all kinds of leather and some beef that we can cook up into steaks, which is going to be, one of our better food sources. All right, where did I put those fences? Here we go. And as long as there's a too high block on one side like the left there, they're not going to be able to climb back out, and they can't climb over fences either. I think I'm going to put my gate like right about here. And you can see we can right click it. It'll open, close, and that'll let us get in and out. Now, another thing that we're going to be able to do here is that I made a pressure plate, and I can put that in front of this gate. When I step on it, it'll automatically open and just let me in. I'm only going to put it on the outside, though, because a cow standing on the inside could actually open it and let themselves back out. So we'll set that up, and we'll go ahead and stretch this out just a little bit. Give ourselves enough room for cows. Yep, like that. And I'm actually going to stretch this back up with blocks, dirt for the time being. And there we go. We now have a cow pen. All right, now let's run off. We got some cows, sheep, and pigs in the area. So I'm going to run off and get a couple of cows' attention. Ooh, deep holes. And we're going to get them to follow us right into the pen. This part is really easy. All right, got his attention. Let's see if we can get this guy up here. There we go. Now we got two of them following us. So we're just going to turn around. We're going to go back to our pen. Make sure they're still there. Yeah, 1, 2, okay. And watch the hole. Don't fall in there, guys. Good, good. All right. Now just over the hill right here. All right, and this is what I was talking about with easy to get them in here. I'm just going to jump on down, and they're going to blindly follow me. All right, now I can use the wheat. If I right-click on them, you'll see some hearts appear, and that makes them ready to breed. So they're going to have a baby. There we go. All right, and we can do that with cows, sheeps, or just sheep, I guess, pigs. They all have different kinds of food that they like, so you can get them to multiply. All right, so that is how we capture cows. Sheep will actually also rely on wheat, so we can do the same thing with them. And then pigs will like carrots and potatoes, so we can use the same method to get them down into pens of their own. All right, so far we've talked about how to get some of our animals, get everything started with the farms. We've gone off to the jungle. We've talked about pandas a little bit, some of the benefits with them. So the last thing that's on our agenda for today is to talk about our storage, which would be these chests right here. All right, so the thing with storage is that it is absolutely necessary if you want to do anything large. And that is absolutely something we want to do. I mean, we want to build a house. We want to build this place out. We need to make it beautiful. But we don't want to run it all the way across the map every single time. We need a different kind of wood or a different kind of brick or something like that. So if we can collect a whole bunch of it to have ready for us to start working, we can build a lot of things, relatively quickly without all the back and forth all the time. So I've actually done some resource collecting, And I'm holding a lot of stuff in these chests here. I've got cobblestone, I've got cobble deep slate, some granite, some diorite, some of those jungle logs that we collected earlier, a whole bunch of the acacia wood. I'm working on some oak and some birch that I'm slowly farming up, getting ready for the build. And for the most part, this should cover most of the things we need to build a relatively decent little starter house, which is going to fill out some of this area right here. Okay, but the biggest thing as far as storage goes is we have chests. You have the single chest and the double chest. They're actually made exactly the same way. So if you remember from the first video, we can take our wood planks. Okay, there we go. In here, let's see, let's just make a couple. Can put them around in a square, and that'll make us a chest. All right, and the chest can be stacked in your inventory or on top of each other. Now, the difference between this double chest and these single chests is how I placed them. No matter what, when you place a chest by itself, it's going to start out like this. Now, if you come next to it and place another chest like that, they'll automatically connect up. It'll be twice as big on the inside, and you can store whatever you want in there. Now, over here, I'm trying to keep my building supplies a little bit organized, so I used a whole bunch of smaller individual chests. And the way I did that is I held the shift key, so that's your crouch, and then I placed my chest. So when I did that, they didn't connect together. Now, thing to note, sometimes positioning is a little weird. If you hold shift and click on the side of an existing chest, it'll still become a double chest like this. Okay? So depending on how you place it, just depends on what kind of chest you get. Now, another great option is the barrel. Okay? Now, the barrel is essentially the same as a single chest, and it just has some cosmetic benefits. It's not as glaringly ugly. It's the same size as a normal block. In fact, let's put this on top of here. If you look, the chest is actually just a little bit smaller than a lot of your other normal blocks. So sometimes it leaves weird outlines and things that are just not super desirable. Okay, so the barrel's another option. And if you want to make it, you can just come into your crafting table, and we have the barrel. We don't have the stuff to build it in our inventory, but we would just have to make ourselves a couple of half slabs here, or just slabs, which is half of a block. And to do that, we can take some of our planks and we run them across by 3, which it'll give us the recipe for in our recipe book if we have what we need there, or if we discovered it already, and have enough planks. Boom, we have ourselves another barrel. And one of the things I like about barrels is it doesn't matter how they're stacked, how they're set up next to each other for the most part. They're just going to sit different ways, but you can also get them to sit in different ways depending on how you place them. So sometimes these can be great for floor textures. If you want to have like a nice barred floor, but you need a place where you have a lot of storage and you don't want it just obvious sitting out in the middle of nowhere, this is a great option. Now, another quick little bit to know, let's see, is one of our first redstone things that we're going to cover. The hopper. Now, the hopper is amazing. What the hopper does is it lets you take stuff from one place and put it into something else. Most of the time, it'll be from chest to chest, or maybe you could run water streams over the top of something to carry things over the hopper and into the chest. But the way this will work is you can point it down into a chest. See, it's empty right now. We're going to make ourselves another chest, like so. We're going to come up here. Now we're going to have to shift and click. Oh, that's not even the chest. All right, let's cut that. And see how that item disappeared? It's because it got caught there. All right, let me sleep real fast before we end up getting creepered over here with all our exposed stuff and friendly pets. All right. So what we can do is we can come in and, for real this time, grab that chest I was certain that I just made. Apparently I did not. All right. We'll come over here. We will make ourselves our chest, and it can be a chest, it can be a barrel. Either way, doesn't matter. All right, now we're going to have to hold shift. If we just right click, it'll show us the spaces in the hopper that it's trying to use to fill something. But now I can click on top of it, and whatever I put in there, it's going to pull out of this chest. We can do some seeds, some bamboo, some dirt, and as we come down here, we can see that an item's coming in here, and it's slowly moving it over here. So later down the line, when we start to get a lot of different kind of items, I'm going to set up a storage system that can automatically sort some of this stuff out for us so that we can find it when we need, instead of coming over to this chest, oh no, it's not there, it's not there, and clicking around like that. Another great use for these hoppers, and I'll set something up for it down the line when I need some other things, is you can use them with your furnaces to provide fuel, put the items that you want to grow, to cook, into the furnace, and then also take them out. So you can put a whole bunch in there instead of just the single stack that these allow for, straight up. And that'll give you a little bit more ability to make a lot of something all at the same time. But anyway, that was it for today. Now, I am going to be uploading daily for the time being. I don't know how long that'll last, to be quite honest with you, but we will continue on. So tomorrow, we're going to get into our caves a little bit. I'm going to show you some of the digging that I've done and a couple of cool things that I found while I was starting to work my way towards the bottom of the world, which will come in handy for some of the things that we're going to do in the near future. But that'll be it for today. And next episode, hopefully, we'll get to planning out our building. We'll start making some stuff, finally get ourselves a little kitchen, a library, and all kinds of things like that. But it was fantastic. If you ended up falling on this video and taking a watch, I appreciate the time. And, if you got any comments, suggestions, questions, anything like that, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. I know I've basically made nothing as far as content's concerned, though I do plan to do this for a while. So if you'd like to see where we go and the things that I learned to do in this world, as well as with YouTube, some different editing techniques, I'd love to have you along for the ride. But with that, I'm Sin Skillet. It's been fun, and I will catch you in the next one.